Hello, is this Netflix? Yeah, this is Chris. I was just calling to see if you guys got my payment for this month. You did? So I paid for this? Do y'all do like refunds? Hello? Hello? Alright, welcome to Tate's Take. If you're new here, I do spoiler-free movie and TV reviews. Give you a little background, just let you know if I think it's worth checking out or not. If that's something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular Taste Takers, let's see if this is going to be the next show that pops off. Get it? I said pops, and it's a show about a dad? Ugh, never mind. Quick background here. Dad Stop Embarrassing Me is a new Netflix original show starring Jamie Foxx. It's loosely based on his real life raising his daughter Corinne Foxx, who's actually an executive producer on the show. Oh, hello. The show marks 25 years since Jamie Foxx was doing sitcom on the iconic Jamie Foxx show. Ugh, the good old days. Anyway, back to this show. The other producers are Bentley Kyle Evans, who actually worked with Jamie on the Jamie Foxx show, and Ken Whittingham, who's connected to a lot of shows, but he's actually won awards for his work on like The Office, 30 Rock, and Parks and Rec. We got 8 episodes here in season 1, about 30 minutes each. They were all filmed in Atlanta, probably in about 2 days. All right, plot time. Dad Stop Embarrassing Me is about a teenage girl from Chicago who goes to live with her dad in Atlanta. Her mom passed away, so now she'll live with her dad, his dad, and her aunt. Let me break down the main characters here. Of course, the star of the show is Jamie Foxx, who plays Brian Dixon. Brian Dixon is a dude who took over his mom's cosmetic company, Bay Cosmetics, and he's used to living that bachelor life, but he is cool with having the chance to spend some more time with his daughter now that she's moving in. His daughter is Sasha, who's played by Kyla-Drew. You would have seen her on Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn on Nickelodeon. What happened to Nickelodeon? No Good Nick on Netflix. No relation. But this will be her biggest role to date. Jamie's dad in the show is Pops Dixon, who's played by Alan Grier. So that's kind of like a nice little In Living Color reunion there, like 30 years later. But the real ones know Alan Grier from having his girl stolen by Eddie Murphy in Boomerang. Sasha's aunt on the show is Chelsea Dixon, who's played by Porscha Coleman. You would have seen her on The Parkers or like Wildin' Out. Here in the show, she also lives with Brian, and she has an on-again, off-again relationship with Brian's best friend, Johnny. Johnny's played by comedian Jonathan Kite, and besides being Brian's best friend, he's also a cop in Atlanta. He's kind of like the Hakeem from Moesha of the show. He's like always at Brian's house eating his food. Johnny's daughter Zaya is in the show, played by up-and-coming actor Miracle Reigns. She quickly becomes Sasha's best friend. She's kind of like the Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo of the show because she's not smart. You also got Stacey Collins, who's Brian's assistant at Bay Cosmetics. She's played by Heather Hemmons. You would have seen her if you watched Tyler Perry's If Loving You Is Wrong, even though making that show was probably wrong. Finally, there's Manny, who's played by Valente Rodriguez. Of course, that's the homie from the George Lopez show. Manny's Brian's handyman, but he's also always at the house, so he's kind of like part of the family. Each episode has a different story, like your typical sitcom. They tackle her moving in and throwing off his bachelor ways. There's a church episode. There's a cookout episode. There's an episode where he thinks she's on drugs. There's an episode where she's trying to get Yeezys. There's an episode where she lies and says she's hanging out with her friends, but she's actually meeting a boy, and he follows her on the date. And for good measure, they threw in a Black Lives Matter episode. And now we got a series. So what's my take? This is the worst show I've seen in a long time. And trust me, it pains me to say it. It may not surprise me to say it, or it may not even sound like it pains me, but trust me, the pain, it cuts deep. As far as Hollywood is concerned, Jamie Foxx might be the most talented dude in that whole town. Easily one of my favorite comedians, and just seems like a genuine dude that wants to uplift people. One day, I hope that we could be friends, and we could look back at this review and have a good laugh. So Jamie Foxx, if you're watching this, don't focus on the shade of the present. Try to envision the laughs in our future. Anyway, it's safe to say that I'm a huge Jamie Foxx fan, and I still think that the Jamie Foxx show was one of the most underrated TV shows in our history. But Dad, Stop You're Embarrassing Me is really the most unfortunate show title, because this cringe fest is nothing more than an embarrassment. All right, let's get organized here. First, some positives of the show. DEA cars. The theme song's a low-key bop. Huh? That's a positive. Okay, I'm half serious. I don't know. I guess it's cool to see Jamie Foxx do stuff. He does some other characters here, which is like the Martin or like the Coming to America. That's cool to see. I mean, he's like trying. Like you can tell that underneath something that Jamie Foxx is still funny. It's just, I think the show that he's given doesn't allow him to be great. David Alan Grier is still an icon, so it's cool to see them reunite on a show like this. I think they give him the most basic storyline, but even through that, you can still see the flashes of his greatness, but that's it for the positives. The writing on this show is just terrible. There's not a lot of shows today that have an actual laugh track, but hearing that laugh track after a not funny joke just gives room for more cringe. Like, there's a scene where Brian comes downstairs and sees his sister, and he goes, "How's my favorite sister doing?" And she goes, "I'm your only sister." Then the laugh track comes on. That was the... The acting is also really bad, and I know she's young and she's got a lot of room to grow, but Kyla-Drew playing his daughter is really not that good. But I think the worst character on the show is the cop, Johnny. Like, there's a scene where he says, "I once ate 36 hot dogs." And then the laugh track comes on. Yeah, we gotta defund the police. Last scene I'm gonna touch on here, I promise. I don't promise. All right, so there's a cookout scene where Brian's pops, that's David Alan Grier, and his siblings are competing for who got the best ribs. Whoever wins the competition gets to keep their dad's ashes in their house for the year. Okay. Naturally, in typical sitcom fashion, they try to sabotage each other. One of them puts ice in one of the grills. One of them unplugs a grill. But then, one of them literally opens up the urn and sprinkles ashes onto the ribs. Listen to me, because I don't think it's registering. Do you realize that white people also have Netflix logins? They're going to fire up their smart TVs and turn this show on because they love Jamie Foxx in The Masked Singer, and they're going to see black people using the ashes of their actual grandfather as seasoning for ribs. This is serious. Anyway, let me hurry up and get out of here. It's also edited terribly. They use those cheap PowerPoint effects that you used to use back in high school when you first discovered Windows 95. You know the ones I'm talking about. Like, yes, like these. There's a scene where they're smoking and it just looks like $2 special effects. Like the whole show is, I don't know. Like if Thunder Force cost Netflix $1 million, then here someone just used their stimulus check, but not even the whole thing. Like they got change. I'm gonna give Dad Stop Embarrassing Me 2 stars. I just don't know who this show is for. As a lifelong hater of Blackish and thinking that Black AF was super trash, they're both so much better than this. And I don't know how to feel about even just saying that out loud right there. Who am I? Look what this show did to me. In my opinion, Blackish is still corny, but at least they tackle some real issues that you can get some value from, like especially watching as a family. Black AF tried way too hard to be current, but they still do a better job at that than this show. Plus, it's also edited like a real show that costs actual money. Black people need quality family shows, and we deserve them. Some of y'all might be thinking like, damn, Tate, like you're hating, like it's a family show, like relax. Like they're out here smoking weed in their kitchen just cuz, like, and they're cursing. So like, who's supposed to be watching this? Like what family is supposed to be seeing this? Please tell me. I try to think back to the best black family shows we've had. Obviously the Cosby started it all, but we had a great run in the 90s into the 2000s. Like the Fresh Princes, the Family Matters, the Bernie Macs, the Steve Harvey Show, the Everybody Hates Chris, My Wife and Kids. Where are the black family quality shows of the 2010s and 2020s? Maybe you guys can help me out in the comments because we need them, but I don't see them. Y'all be the judge. This show's available right now on Netflix. As always, thanks for checking out Tate's Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe. In the comments, I do want to know what are the good black family shows that are out right now for like the young generation. This is just like, there's a scene where Jamie Foxx is making fun of skinny jeans while wearing skinny jeans. Then they got Pops, my man David Alan Grier, talking about how he took a Uber pool, but he's mad because there wasn't no water in it and how he was wearing a Speedo. What are we doing here? Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace.